still not very close to knowing what lawmakers plan to do with your money in the coming year. House and Senate Republican leaders said today they're still far apart on several issues in the state budget, including tax cuts. How much does it matter that there's no deal yet? WRAL's Capitol Bureau Chief Laura Leslie joins us now live from the Legislative Building with what's at stake. Laura?
Deb, the state budget will be 4 weeks late tomorrow on the day. But GOP leaders here don't seem terribly worried about that. They say, the state is continuing to run while they're continuing to negotiate. But a budget leader says things aren't necessarily running as business as usual. North Carolina used to have a budget deadline. Before 2015, if there was no budget and no continuing resolution by the end of the fiscal year, June 30th, the state would start shutting down. In 2015, after decades of late-night deadline showdowns, lawmakers passed a permanent continuing resolution. The law says if there's no budget, the state can just keep running at the same spending level as the last budget.
There's no deadline, right?
House Speaker Tim Moore says it was a good move.
State government continues to operate. Things are going fine. You ask people in North Carolina, most people would not realize a formal budget has not been adopted.
That doesn't really mean that it's business as usual, and doesn't mean that it's without pain.
Anka Grozov is the state's deputy budget director. She said the continuing resolution does not allow spending on things like additional students in schools, Medicaid growth, or bonuses or raises for teachers and state employees, even if they were previously scheduled.
We're not allowed to even do step increases at this point. So, those are increases that people had planned for and they're not there. And it's hard to retain good people when you're in that sort of situation.
The other big ticket item on hold is Medicaid expansion. Lawmakers conditioned expansion on the passage of the budget. The state will get its federal bonus money whenever the budget passes, but Grozov says people are losing Medicaid coverage while they're waiting for it.
People who are affected by it, they're suffering now, and that's not something you can make up.
Now, Moore said today if they don't get a deal pretty soon, they may have to resort to what are called partial budgets or mini budgets in order to cover things like raises and other things that the CR doesn't cover. However, he said mini budgets would not be enough to trigger Medicaid expansion. So that could leave Medicaid expansion in limbo for quite some time. Deb?
We know you'll keep watching. Laura Leslie, live on Jones Street. Thank you, Laura.